Hello, everyone. We just got back from the Suicide Squad. I wanted to call it a premiere. It's not a premiere. We just watched it for the first time. Today, you've got Kev here.
Got Nathan.
Blue.
Yeah. And Sean was here with us, but he had a pretty expensive nap today. And that's he's not going to be sitting in on this review with us because he needs to go back and watch the movie
Again.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I guess you can't even really say again when you sleep about what, an hour and 45 minutes through a 2-hour movie.
He said he got 30 minutes in, so.
But does that include trailer time?
Yeah, probably.
also keep in mind that he tried to play it off as if he didn't sleep that much at all at first.
Really?
We walked outside and he was like, yeah, man, I thought it was a pretty cool movie. I liked it a lot. And I just busted him out right away. I was like, oh, really? You liked it a lot, huh? You know?
Yeah.
Because from what I saw, I don't see how you could have liked any of it because you were just asleep the whole time.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's Sean gives 2 reviews. We'll start with Sean first. Sean really, really liked the Suicide Squad, guys. He loved it because he saw the first 30 minutes and he saw the last 2 minutes. And I guess I should get this out now because we're going to upset someone if we forget.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alerts. We are going to ruin this movie for you. So if you haven't watched it yet, turn away now. Go. There's some other crap on our channel you can listen to. I promise it. We just saw Slipknot. I just saw Slipknot. I've got the trailer for you guys in the room with me. Don't know. I've got the trailer just playing in the background, and I just saw as much Slipknot action in the trailer as I saw in the entire movie. Not that I'm complaining about that, but you know, Sean didn't get to see him at all because he took a nap. You could have gone up to the bathroom though and missed him for the entire movie. It was very interesting. I don't know what you guys felt. If you guys got this same feeling, I have the feeling that a lot of this movie was left on the cutting room floor. Seeing a character like Slipknot get introduced and then not really having any point in time. And we need to go back and watch this again. I could be wrong here. I don't remember when we see him not becoming a part of it. And all of a sudden he's just gone. Like he gets introduced and then he's just gone and he's not in any of the major stuff. And I was just sort of confused by that.
Which character was Slipknot?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you're making it, if you're trying to be funny or not right now.
A little bit of both, really.
Okay, so he was the guy where they were like, he can climb anything. It was around the same time they introduced your girl. Yeah?
He died. He was the first one that tried to bolt, and they blew that thing up in his neck.
Oh, see, now that might have happened because I did step out for a couple of minutes.
You had to go potty or something.
Yeah, and then when I asked Nate here what was up, Nate's response was they're fighting that one girl's brother and they like created army of dudes or something. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna know what happened here.
Yeah, dude, that dude got fucked up because he talked to that Boomerang guy and he was like, the Boomerang guy talks to him. Captain Boomerang talks to him and he's like, there's, only so many of them. We can take them all. And so he starts to like take off with the plan and shit, and they blow that thing in his neck.
There it was. Okay, so it was actually in the story, and I missed it because I stepped out. So that at least takes away one of my gripes right away. I think this was an all right movie. I think we all walked away maybe agreeing that it was better than we thought it would be, but still also agreeing that wasn't saying much.
Right. After the disappointment that was Batman versus Superman.
I feel like it had some of the same issues, and then I also feel that some of the issues we ran into with Suicide Squad are a direct result of people's reaction to the Superman franchise and Batman versus Superman because there have been a lot of complaints about it being too dark.
Yeah.
And this one definitely tried to add the humor to it and tried to make everything a little bit more happy and cozy. And I think it really would have been a better film if they had just kept it gritty and make it a rated R film.
Right.
Oh, well, yeah, that should have been a rated R.
And especially when you're selling the premise of supervillains unchained. You know, here's a bunch of, you know, you're quoting the movie. Here's the worst of the worst, and let's let these fuckers off their leash, basically.
Yeah, it was a. Nate, what did you think about the movie? Well, let's let you get in here.
So I will preface this with I haven't seen a superhero movie in, I don't know, to be honest, probably since The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, wow.
In theaters. So, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I mean, it's nothing like it was like groundbreaking or anything. I mean, you could tell the quality was not as precise as they probably attempted to. I will say I was quite annoyed with Harley Quinn throughout the movie.
I loved her, man. She was my favorite part.
I don't know. It would get all serious and stuff, and you'd have those parts, and then she would come in and, you know, break the proverbial stress ice there. But I don't know. I just thought that was annoying for what the movie was going to be in my mind.
Harley Quinn's the ultimate cheerleader, dude. For bad stuff, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
But I did enjoy Will Smith's character a lot. But I will say it felt very I Am Legend-y in a sense.
Okay.
Like just the attitude. I mean,
Okay.
and I realize he's, you know, very abrasive and whatnot in this movie due to the character. But I guess the way he portrayed the character felt very I Am Legend-y.
I can see that. So I kind of agree with what you're saying. First off, Will Smith was great.
Yeah.
Secondly, Will Smith played a character that wasn't what we were used to when we think about the comic book version of that character. They made Will Smith he was a good guy. Will Smith was the one guy really in this squad where you kind of looked at, and then they did that a lot with a lot of the characters. I thought they really made an attempt to humanize them and make them all just misunderstood good guys. And you had, you know, a lot of situations where you got them saying, "And I'm the bad guy." You know, they made the good guys look bad. Literally in this scenario. They even go so far as to make Batman kind of look dirty in this film.
Oh yeah. Attacking the dude in front of his kid.
Yeah.
Because he didn't think he would fight back in front of her type shit.
Yeah. And
Amanda Waller being Amanda fucking Waller's garbage ass.
Yeah. And then, well, you have a big spoiler here, post-credit spoiler. You have the whole meeting at the very end of Waller, who shows throughout the movie how big of a piece of shit she is. You have Bruce Wayne essentially signing his soul with the devil, saying, you know, maybe not knowing that she's a criminal, but it sounds like he said, "You're under my protection as long as you give me this information." Right. So you see, like, and we saw from the last movie, this is clearly this is a jaded and ruthless Batman. This isn't the same Batman.
I was about to say, dude, I don't think she realizes the devil she's signing with, because Bruce Wayne isn't Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne doesn't call himself Bruce Wayne. He calls himself motherfucking Batman. So that dude's a fucking nut. Which it's why it's so great how him and Joker spar between each other.
Yeah. And the Joker was a great part of this movie. I thought Jared Leto made a great Joker. We talked about this both before and after the movie, sort of which Joker did we think he was going to play into? Because I know you're on the level here, Lou. I know you. I was
very pessimistic going into it.
You were very pessimistic, but what I was getting at was you understand more so than most the difference in Jokers between the Golden Age, the Silver Age, and then the Bronze Modern Age. That Joker's kind of been the same. Once he changed in the Bronze Age, he's kind of stayed true to form there in the modern times as well. And to break it down quickly for people, the Golden Age Joker, the original Joker, was the serial killer. He was a maniac. Think Tim Burton's version. Think Jack Nicholson version of the Joker. His calling card was to leave smiles on his victims' faces, stuff like that.
Mhm.
He used his poison gas. Very, very 1989 Batman when you think of that. Now, when you think of the Silver Age, that's your Romero. That's your Adam West Batman version of the Joker, who does everything for money. He's more of a clown. That happened because they created their own, rather than being censored by someone else, they created their own censorship.
Right.
Comics did, and they adhered to it for what I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but for at least a decade, you know, it was 20 something years where they censored themselves and made everything real campy and
PG-13y. And
yeah. And then we the Bronze era, think that's your Heath Ledger to put it film wise. And you may know this because we've been looking into the DC Rebirth issues for our other stuff, but there's been the issue where Batman finds out the identity of the Joker. Are you up on point with this? Where I can't remember the name of the machine. It's like Professor X's chair. It starts with an M. I can't remember the name of the chair now that Batman sits in. It has all the knowledge in the world.
Oh wow!
And it gives so the first question he asks is who killed my parents, and when it gives him the right answer, the next question he asks is what's the identity of the Joker? And then they give you this big like 6-month cliffhanger where he's like, no, it can't be. And then finally, I think it was several issues later, they come back and they finally let you know what Batman found out. And what Batman found out was that there are 3 Jokers. And it's just so happened that the way that they broke it down, Mobius, thank you. I was gonna say, yeah, don't show it to me. It's hard for me to talk and read your phone at the same time. Feel free to just kick me off. And so the Mobius chair tells Batman that there are 3 Jokers, and they basically break down that way.
Okay.
It's a way to sort of answer any continuity errors over the timeline of Batman for why the Joker has had these crazy changes into who he is.
Right.
And with all of that in mind, I would have to say, in my opinion, that Jared Leto was sort of a mixing of the Silver and Bronze Age, where he was definitely more of a gangster. Money was clearly a part of it for him because he had all the jewelry, he had the nice Lamborghini, he had the jewelry, the clothes, he had the club, he was a mobster. It was about possession. You saw what happened between that Commons character and the Joker when Harley Quinn got brought up. And so I thought he was it was a modern take, really, I thought, on Romero's version of the character of the mobster Joker. And I thought to me, it was the bright spot of the movie. That made my price of admission worth it. For me, was seeing those two interact the way that they did. It was great
to finally see Harley Quinn and the Joker on screen together.
And to see, and he didn't let me down. A lot of people thought that he was going to be a bad Joker. I loved this cast. It was immediately when I heard it, a lot of people freaked out about all the tattoos and how this was going to be some punk rock Joker that nobody was going to like. And I thought it was a brilliant choice. I mean, here's a guy who's been in movies like Dallas Buyers Club, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream. Like here's a guy who knows what it takes to be. Here's a guy who's a little bit nuts, to put it frankly, and I like that, and in a good way. And all the 2 best that we have, Jack and Heath, were both a little bit nuts, and they made the role their own. And I really liked just his delivery in the way that he was saying things.
Definitely.
Really sounded like the Joker. He was very authentic. He got the voice down.
He did.
That was a big thing for me. So did Harley Quinn. So did
the way she said pudding.
Yeah. Oh man.
I got half a chub.
I was sailing at least half mast at that whole movie. She was great. I know you had a bigger crush though
on Katana.
Katana, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it her look, or was it the blade that captures the souls it kills?
Both. Murasame, I believe, is what the blade's called.
Nice. Yeah, it captures, and so she talks to it throughout the movie a little bit, which is interesting.
You might have missed the backstory on that. her husband was killed by that blade.
No, I did see that.
Okay.
I did see that. Well, I
wasn't sure how close in proximity to when that was when you walked out, or
yeah.
so
it was. I did actually get to catch that, and she had an interesting backstory. She was the one person in the group that wasn't essentially. Well, they tried to make them all seem like good guys, but she was working for the government at that time.
Right.
So I do want to apologize to YouTube and to our viewers in any instance that this episode gets booted and we have to restart. I have been informed that I was not authorized to use the Suicide Squad trailer on mute as our background. So about every 2 minutes I've been, even though I turned it off, it was for about the first 3 minutes we used it. I've been getting a warning message from YouTube every 2 minutes saying that this Google Hangout on air may be ended if you don't stop using content you're not authorized to use. I have stopped it. I stopped it right away. I actually believe that I had stopped it before the messages started popping up. So I'm hoping that we get to push through. If for any situation you see 2 of these episodes pop up, you'll know why. If you listen to both, I just want to let you guys know on the panel as well, we may end up doing a short little reboot. I might be getting slapped on the wrist here. So I apologize for not behaving. I don't own any of the rights to the Suicide Squad trailer, which is put out there to gain your interest to go watch a movie that we're reviewing and critiquing. So I thought I was good. I apologize. I must not have been good. So what else did our anti-heroes do?
Stole a pretty purse that went with her booty shorts.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, I wanted that movie to be rated R so badly.
Oh my god.
And but I don't want to. I don't want to cross.
Do you need to borrow Wolf of Wall Street for the night or something?
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey,
and for 2 weeks straight.
There's a bathroom right down the hall if you need to go take care of something.
Oh, dude, this is my house. I'll go wherever, whenever.
You don't tell him where to jizz.
You can't tell. Until we have a house meeting about it, I'm still under the impression I can just do that wherever.
So I would like to speak about one thing specifically. Diablo. I felt it was, maybe I'm just seeing things that I only see here. It was interesting to see how much different of a dynamic he was compared to everybody else in the squad there, because he was very hesitant to use his powers, because of what happened with his wife and kids.
Yeah, the reluctant hero in this scenario.
Yeah, and I didn't get the sense. I mean, I know he was a sort of a gangster in L.A. there, but I didn't necessarily get the thing that he was, a bad guy here, like at all. Like he wasn't using. I mean, he was using his powers for evil, but nothing like, a Harley Quinn or a Dead Spot. So.
Yeah, they really covered their story arcs here. They had a nice balance. I guess it also felt a little cliche.
They had a good balance. It was cliche, and that's where it kind of goes off, for originality in a sense. That they did a good job introducing and rolling these characters and throwing them and getting them in one room, essentially. That's essentially, that's you got to get them in the one room, and there's your movie. Without that, it's not really a squad,
Yeah, I was just going along the lines of like what you were talking about with Diablo, him being the reluctant hero. Like you could kind of see him coming. If you get what I'm saying, like, oh yeah,
right.
You knew he wasn't going to go the whole movie without using his powers. So It's one of those things where, on one end, you're kind of like, man, I hate being able to predict what's going to happen because I've seen this trope in movies so often.
Right.
But at
the one guy that doesn't want to use his powers being the fucking most powerful one of them all.
Right. It's like, yeah, man, I watched Dragon Ball Z. I know what's going to happen here.
This reminds me of a quote talking about this, where how you can see it from a mile away. I took a class in college called Crime in the Movies, and my professor, a lot of film noir and things along those lines.
Did you guys watch Chinatown?
Yeah.
Damn right you did.
And Scarface, the original Scarface, was another one we watched.
I
But
didn't know there was a second one.
well, it was kind of
The one that you know is a remake.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
It's I would call it more a reboot.
It's a remake in the way that The Birth of a Nation is a remake.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But he's like, yeah, Hollywood ran out of film ideas in the 1960s. So, I mean, that quote I think definitely applies to you see the reluctant hero from a mile away here.
Well, that's what happens when Alfred Hitchcock and Rod Serling live at the same time. I mean, there's not going to be many ideas left over for us simpletons.
Right.
But you're not wrong. You're
Simpsons did it.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, yeah, I don't know necessarily how much of a critique, how much of a slam I even want to give them on that, because I kept in mind that the way I've viewed this Suicide Squad movie was sort of a Batman versus Superman 1.5, where DC has put themselves in this rut where they've started so far behind Marvel, and yet the goal is for them to catch Marvel, which I think is a stupid goal. A lot of times, I think we all do that as people, where it's like if you get put in a spot where you start already behind,
Right.
That's not your fault. All right, you don't have to make up all that time. Just do your thing. It'll get there when it gets there. Do it right, do it well.
Make quality work.
People won't remember who came first. They're going to remember who did a better job.
Right.
And so I think they've really screwed themselves by trying to force feed all of these origin stories. It was cool having one of the bad guys be apprehended by the Flash at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
But it would have been a lot cooler if you didn't see him for half a second. It was.
Well, he was the Flash.
Okay.
World's fastest man.
All right. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. I'm not going to rescind what I said, but fair enough. I just feel like, they put themselves in a spot where they were trying to start up this whole franchise and start a bunch of different side stories. That's why you get the half second, you get one little still frame of Aquaman in the whole movie. You get a picture of Aquaman on a piece of paper. And that's why you get those couple of Batman moments in the early going to kind of remind you where this is all going. And that's, that's why you have the Harley and Joker story. I imagine those two will be the two big players. I don't know how many other people from the Suicide Squad we'll see again.
This is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing that Harley and Joker are going to be the bad guys in the new Batflick movie. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing he's going to start laying more groundwork in bringing in either Aquaman or the Flash to do Justice League. Because we're probably going to see the rest of the formation of Justice League in Batman movie.
Yeah, which if that happens, I will not love it because
I guessed it so hard.
No, you're over there tugging on yourself, feeling so proud. No, it's got nothing to do with you, Lou. It's got everything to do with Bruce. I love Batman to the point where if it weren't for Batman, I would have never given a shit about comics. I wasn't a comic book fan as a child. I was a Batman fan.
Right.
That's why I ended up being behind the game in quite a lot of these films. Civil War, I had to catch up on the source material when it started getting pitched. When all of the Marvel movies started getting popular, I kind of had to play catch up because I wasn't really a huge fan. For me, I was a huge Batman fan. I loved the idea of this dude, albeit him being the richest man in the world and wealth was essentially his superpower. Here was just a dude who was a detective. I loved a great detective story. So I hate the idea of the Justice League being branched out from a Batman movie. Like, he is the one tool that DC has in its belt that doesn't need any help is Batman. So I see how they're going to have to kind of leach off of it and bring new things in.
I'll tell you what's been most disappointing for me as far as Batman post, including Batman versus Superman and into this, we haven't really seen him be a fucking detective. It just seemed like he was taking down street thugs. You know, we haven't really. When's the last time we saw a Batman movie where he was like did detective work?
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
The world's greatest detective doesn't do detective work. What the fuck is wrong with that picture?
At risk to losing this idea, now that I'm putting it out on the air, I'm sure I'm not the only one to have it. We've talked about this before. If I ever got to a point where I had a chance to write a Batman comic or write a script for a Batman film, that I would take it all the way back to Detective Comics number 27 and have it be, I want to do Batman as a noir film.
Right.
I think that would be a great medium to tell that story, just to sort of remind people of where it came from, what it originally was. Because that's the other thing. Golden Age Batman is much more like the Frank Miller, Ben Affleck-y Batman that we're getting.
Oh, yeah.
The original Batman carried a gun and was not afraid to use it, things like that. It was, again, the censorship of the Silver Age that turned Batman into, like, when I watch the Adam West Batmans, I hate them. I know it's like in this culture, it's, you know, in comic culture, it's like some big iconic thing. It's almost like a sacrilege for me to say but I cannot stand the Adam West Batman. It drives me nuts. Same reason I can't stand the Shoemaker Batman movies. It was just too much, and because they played too hard on the Adam West of it.
Well, I liked the Adam West Batmans when I was a kid because it was like, oh, here's Batman and Robin, yay! But as an adult, I love the nostalgia. As someone who loves comics, I can't stand how fucking campy they are sometimes.
Yeah, well, and that's the big misconception, and I was guilty of this as a child. We don't realize, because we weren't there.
Right.
Comic books weren't created for children.
Nope.
Again, to go back to that golden age, there were erotic and romantic comics, there were horror comics, there were murder mystery comics, there were sci-fi comics. It was not superheroes ended up taking it over. Mm-hmm. Probably because they were more universal and because they could attract the younger crowd, which is anybody would tell you that's what you want.
Because you can explain so many of those genres with superheroes. A superhero medium is something that you can parallel into almost anything you want.
Exactly. And Nate, what were you?
Well, no, I was going to say, like, you know, a lot of things have started like that where they weren't necessarily, you know, for children along those lines. I mean, think about like Snow White and stuff like that.
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee-wee's been getting it today.
Yeah. But I mean, it didn't. You know, and I think it's in Snow White, or like she goes nuts and kills somebody or something. But they weren't like
most of the Aesop's fables and stuff like that. The most of our childhood fairy tales, a lot of Disney movies are based off of stories that what's that one it's named after the Russian princess. The one
Anastasia.
That was Anastasia, who was brutally murdered.
Yeah.
She did not survive. There's some little folklore that they like to,
and stuff.
That's, you want to talk about a bullshit conspiracy theory. There's one right there. That little girl did not make it out of there. And so, but yes, what you're saying is true. That Disney movies, a lot of them were darker fables. I mean, a lot of
look at Peter Pan.
The sad thing about a lot of those childhood tales, when they were originally told, they're more of like moral tales of like, you better keep your ass in line, or this dude's gonna play this, or this dude's gonna play this little fiddle and lead you into the port, and you're gonna drown, or what? You know what I mean? Like they weren't for entertainment the way they were for us, as much as it was a creative little way to make sure your child behaved. But yeah, so with this Suicide Squad movie, I felt a little let down. I felt that as far as the way they handled themselves, they used all of their they played their strong hand first, and then everything just pittered off that. I don't love the idea that every superhero movie has to have something supernatural involved. The thing that made The Dark Knight so great, and honestly even The Dark Knight Rises so great, why Christopher Nolan's Batman I thought has been better than all the other superheroes is just the humanity of it. The fact that these guys might have, you didn't have your cartoony Bane. This Bane didn't have Venom, Tom Hardy was just a badass with training who had a broken face, and that's why he wore the mask.
Yeah.
The Joker. There was none of that stuff. You don't need aliens or an ancient god to come back and create some unbeatable thing. It could have just been a really good criminal, or
Right.
Lex Luthor. Like for instance, Batman and Superman. Lex Luthor didn't need to make Doomsday. Batman versus Superman was going to be cool enough on its own. You kind of shit the bed with the whole Doomsday thing that you piece together, and I felt a lot of the same with this movie. I felt a lot of it was pieced together. Maybe a lot of it was forgotten about or added, or for instance, they might have had a darker and they might have had a different vision, a better vision in mind, but then the feedback from Batman vs Superman was so bad that they knew that this one had to sort of just be more broad and vague and cover and make everybody a little bit happy instead of
to go back to the comparison to Marvel and what DC is doing. DC is in such a mindset of trying to catch up that they're trying to compress all of this in literally a handful of movies.
Yeah,
Whereas,
because Justice League is supposed to come out November next year too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Your point about compressing everything, and I understand it, it's always about keeping up with the Joneses and along those lines.
Definitely.
But if
how many set of movies there were we had two Iron Mans, a Hulk.
Three Iron Man.
No, I meant before the first Avengers movie.
Okay.
There was two Iron Man movies, a Hulk, a Captain America, and a Thor.
Yeah. I mean, so, but nowadays unfortunately, and I'm not going to go into like a capitalistic commentary here, but it's basically about the next, getting quick money instead of, I understand it's frustrating to be patient. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself, but if you put the quality in, it'll reap 10 times over more so than getting that quick buck.
Because it'll have the rewatchability.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll be honest, I could rewatch Suicide Squad. I mean, it's not like...
I'll probably pick it up. I didn't buy Batman versus Superman.
Sean will rave about this movie's rewatchability because it puts you to sleep the first time through, so you have to watch it again.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Too close to the fucking screen. Come on.
I love that. Sean, homie, if you're listening, when you're listening, I want to see some evidence to this too close to the screen thing, because his reasoning for falling asleep in this movie was that we were sitting too close to the screen, and him cranking his neck up, which I thought would be more painful, somehow made him go to sleep. Because I get the whole, like, when you're too close to the screen, it hurts your neck and it's annoying. But it would make me the opposite of sleepy. It would make me hurt.
I mean, we were in that back row there. I didn't think we were that. It was that bad.
We were the rear row of like the first set.
Yeah, we were the back. We were the back of the front. Yeah, that makes sense to people. We were right before the split. But yeah, so
it wasn't I wasn't uncomfortable.
He got to see all the good parts. I don't know why he's so upset, because now he walked out of that theater feeling like, yeah, I liked that movie. It was really good. And the rest of us walked out of that movie being like,
it was all right.
Where have we seen this before? I feel that every time we go, because we go to watch all of these, basically we cover them so that we can do this. Because every time we walk out of the parking lot, I get mad that I spent my hard-earned money to go watch them, just to have my childhood ruined. Essentially, it's like walking into a Michael Bay film every time I walk into one of these superhero movies. Where I'm like, oh god, what are you gonna taint for me today?
Well, hey, you know what? I think your dad should be sad for me because he pays my salary technically.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How long did I rant about Batman versus Superman?
Oh, it was hilarious. You almost got us in an accident as you were ranting about how bad that movie was. And
I kind of am.
To this day, yeah.
How many times do we have to see Bruce and motherfucking Martha Wayne get shot in the fucking face?
That is the perk. If the one thing that's gonna add a half a star to my review score here for Suicide Squad, I didn't see Martha Wayne die in this movie.
Right.
And I'm just
and the
so
pearls
happy.
go all over hell.
Yeah. And they didn't get Zack Snyder to direct it, which immediate thumbs up from me. Because I give the dude some credit. He does a great job of taking the frames from the comic and reimagining them and recreating them on the film. But what I will also say is, hands down, time and time again, his best shots, the things that blow people away about Zack Snyder movies are usually peeled right from the pages of the comics. So essentially,
wasn't even his idea.
He gets credit for doing a good job. He should get credit for doing a good job of recreating these images. He should not get the credit for creating them as if they're his own brainchild, because I love that he sticks to his source material in that sense.
Right.
But he's not a great filmmaker, and I feel like they need some better directors. They want to. Joss Whedon's been doing a pretty good job for Marvel.
Joss Whedon's amazing, and that's like, if for those of you who have never seen a storyboard for a movie or a television show, read a fucking comic.
Yeah,
that is essentially what a comic is a storyboard.
That is the best way to put it, really. And
that's why I always love them. I mean, you're reading, and you're using your imagination to fill in, what's going on.
Yeah, the action sequences were pretty good. I think we could talk a little bit about what we liked at this point. The effects were spectacular. The music that was used was good. I would argue that they maybe used too much music. I think in the first 3 minutes we heard 3 different song intros to introduce a scene, where it kind of fucked with the continuity right off the bat, which maybe is what they were trying to do. It's a Suicide Squad. It's this movie. I think its goal from the beginning should have been to make you uncomfortable morally. You threw your hand up. Were you want to say something?
I was just.
Oh, I thought you were like, hey, I got to come in here and say something. But no, that's totally cool. Do we have anything else we want to touch on with Suicide Squad? Because I want to get to the Killing Joke, just so we can kind of.
Margot Robbie, will you marry me?
Yeah. Whew.
And Karen Fukuhara, if she says no, will you marry me?
So I'm thinking that we will get the most hits ever if we can promote a fight to the death over Margot Robbie, which she just won't take either of us. It's fine.
Well, I'm here. So
it's fine.
Why.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a 3-way. We're gonna fight it out.
Well, you guys might as well not waste the energy.
It's gonna be John Hinckley style. We're doing this all for you, Margot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry, Obama. We're not coming.
Thank you for clarifying.
At least not with an O.
I realized as soon as I said it, I was like, oh boy. I already got threatened to get kicked off the air, and then I got to say something like that in the same episode. Oh well. So I don't have a number system. Let's say it's out of a 10. If I'm gonna just for the sake, I'm gonna give this movie at least a 7, to where it's like I view that as a C. That's a passing grade. This movie was very average to me. There were things that I liked about it visually. Story had some loopholes. What do you guys think?
I was gonna go 6.
I figured you would. I figured I would be a little on the generous side this time. I've been doing nothing but slandering these movies for the last 2-3 years.
Fair enough.
I thought I'd be nice today.
The cast chemistry was good. The characters were good. The actors were good. I think the writing and maybe what came out of the cutting room is what kind of hurt it.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the extended cut. It's like, as much as I can't sit through a Batman vs Superman extended cut because it would be 4.5 hours long, I'd really like to see all the stuff that they took out, because they probably left out a lot of good stuff. Because the continuity issues with that movie, it doesn't make sense. You can tell big. It's like when you watch Eyes Wide Shut and you realize that Stanley Kubrick died before the final cut of that movie was put out, and you understand that someone besides him edited it, and that's why there are holes in the plot that wouldn't normally be there in a Kubrick film. you see that it's really blatant with Batman and Superman, and even a little bit here in Suicide Squad, where you're like, man, I kind of want to see the director's cut of this at some point.
Mhm.
It could really change the way I feel about it. It could explain a few more things. They did it in, was it The Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
There were a couple of key scenes that were cut out that would have explained why Cap, because there was a big plot hole in Winter Soldier where people were like, why did Captain America have to go and steal his old suit? We never saw him lose his suit.
Right.
Because the scene in which he has to ditch it because it's monitored by S.H.I.E.L.D. is cut.
Right.
No one knows that scene exists. But so the director really did his diligence, but we don't see it. And then we get on shows like this, we talk about how this guy's a hack and a moron, but really it's like somebody decided to cut that out. And so I really look forward to seeing the director's cut of this. So you gave it a 6, Nate. Well, my prediction here, Nate's going to go 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah. I mean, you're just going to split the difference.
You're
going to split the difference, make a real, real ballsy move.
Well, I know Sean's going to give it a big old Z.
Sean gives it a out of 10.
Sean's probably going to think, well, damn, I don't need to ever buy NyQuil anymore. Just have to watch this.
Sean's going to take his ball and go home. Like, we're going to get off this and find, like, he's no longer affiliated with that.
He already did that today. I told him I would make fun of him for sleeping through the movie.
You can't. It's like my dad slept through a Kiss concert once. You think that I ever pass on an opportunity to bring that up?
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he fell asleep at a Kiss concert. Whatever excuse you have, it's like, dude, how do you do that?
How do you fall asleep at any concert?
Physically fall asleep?
Much less a Kiss concert.
Right.
There's so much going on up on
stage. I could see you headbutting a wall until you passed out at a Kiss concert because you want it to end, but I don't see you just falling asleep.
I gotta go with about a 7.2.
Oh, you see? Okay, all right, 7.2.
You weird traffic sign.
He liked it just enough to like it a different amount that I did. I like that. That's a solid move. Now, where I may not be as friendly, and Nate, I apologize. You're going to get this movie spoiled for you. You probably weren't going to watch it.
Okay, what's the name of the movie?
It's the animated The Killing Joke.
I'm going to look it up on Wikipedia.
You look it up a little bit while Lou and I sort of talk about it here for a second. Because now, this was always one of this and Death in the Family are two of my favorite graphic novels, especially as far as Batman goes. Maybe not overall.
Batman.
They're the two best known.
Yeah.
I'm not shaking. I'm not going out on a limb here when I say these things. But I've seen some motion comics done of this that were done very well, and so this animated movie, we watched it yesterday.
Yep.
It's been out for what?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. So
it premiered like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it came out
July 22nd at Comic-Con, and then it was released in theaters and on home video and digitally on the 26th with DVD and Blu-ray on August 2nd.
See, he's the fact man.
Yeah.
Like, we
check your fact, man.
We need Nate to move near us because you are the consummate producer. You're just sitting here with 2 cell phones in your hand, like, pop, pop. Oh, I know you slightly knew what this was, but here are 4 specific facts that I got for you. See, yeah, this was the great side about living on the internet. So, okay, this has been out for a couple of weeks, but we wanted to kind of wait till this point because we knew we weren't going to get enough Joker in Suicide Squad to satisfy our needs to talk Joker. So The Killing Joke gave us plenty of that.
Huh.
This was for those of you who don't know the story. Lou, do you want to give them the breakdown? Spoilers coming, by the way. Killing Joke, graphic novel, film spoilers, and we're going to keep spoiling Suicide Squad as we connect these two.
It's how Batgirl becomes Overwatch.
But isn't she called the Oracle?
Oracle, my bad.
Yeah, Oracle. Okay.
I was gonna say, dude.
I was like, wait a minute.
Even I know that from the Arkham Asylum games.
Yeah, dude, you don't cross streams like that. That's how the ghosts get away.
I think Overwatch is Green Arrow's Girl Friday.
Yeah, Green Arrow. Who came first on that? Because I feel like Green Arrow. Random side note. I'm gonna get real random for a minute. Is Green Arrow not just somebody really lazy in a comic room who's got a deadline who thought, oh, Robin Hood and Batman?
Kind of.
I got a new hero, guys. It's Batman, but Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Like,
it's Batman and a Robin Hood package.
yeah,
kind of. The real difference between the Green Arrow and Batman, other than arrows and color schemes, is Green Arrow loves arrows.
That's not a difference. That's not a difference. You sandbagger.
That was just
You're
a joke.
The
real difference is Oliver Queen actually relies on being Oliver Queen once in a while, whereas Bruce Wayne generally is like, Alfred, go do that bitch work.
Well, and also
I'm
another
Batman.
On another level of that as well. It's even a different. He is a stoic in the true sense, where he goes out of his way to make himself appear to be the opposite of what he is. Like
Definitely.
As Bruce Wayne, he's a real dick. Kind of seems to be. His business always seems to be corrupt.
Right.
He's not paying attention. Especially another nod to the Chris Nolan Batman. I loved Chris Nolan's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
it was much better. Although I gotta admit, I loved Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne too.
Oh.
You want to get nuts?
The thing that was amazing about people forget that like the Christopher Nolan Batman and I can't think of the dude's name. But anyway,
George Clooney?
Not George Clooney. He directed the
Chris O'Donnell.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, I know.
Their Batmans are actually more similar than people think, because you have the duality where Christian Bale plays up the Playboy side, Michael Keaton played up the Playboy side. You know what I mean?
Kind of, but Michael Keaton also had that really awkward, and we're going way off topic here, but I want to debate you on this. He had that really awkward dinner with Vicky Vale where the two of them are sitting across so Michael Keaton, like, he tried to play off it, but he was kind of bad at it. Like,
right.
He was a socially awkward kind of guy. And
yeah, but Vicky, that you have to think about it too. Like, that's a moment where he was actually starting to fall in love with this girl. It wasn't just some bitch he was fucking because she loved his money.
Well, maybe. I mean, it was the first day. We don't need to break. Well, we're getting off. Let's bring it back on course, because if not, I will argue this point with you for the next 20 minutes. And
fair enough.
People will be like, I thought I was listening to the Suicide Squad review.
That could have been just
not a movie
playing
of
on
Tim
her,
Burton's 30-year-old Batman.
Trying to get into her specific pants. Like,
See, I like how I say we're moving on, and he's just like, no, fuck you. We're going to just keep talking about this 30-year-old movie, because that's what Lou needs.
Yeah.
But okay,
we're almost 30.
Vicky Vale aside, the Killing Joke brings up actually, as ass backwards as that segue was, I love it, because we're talking about Bruce Wayne's love life, which is a huge part of the Killing Joke. Spoiler alert to those who have read the book. Going in to watch this movie, it's different. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of preamble that does not exist in the graphic novel, and it basically, long story short, it sets up a relationship between Barbara and Bruce, in which, in a rated R cartoon, you don't get, but you know that they do it. They have some sex, and which I thought it was a cool thing that they tried to do there. Part of me disliked it. It threw in an extra layer that didn't need to be thrown on to the Killing Joke part.
Right.
Batman, Bone, and Barb had nothing to do with this whole thing. This whole concept of the Killing Joke was that Joker's point of trying to, just like he did in the Batman movie, the Chris Nolan movie, all he was trying to do was point out that everyone's one bad day away from becoming him.
Right.
And they do that with the flashbacks where they show his one bad day. How those three tragic events led to him being the Joker, and he tries to force Commissioner Gordon to relive essentially what he relived in hopes that he'll create a new version of himself. And so Batman throwing Barb a hard one 2 days before she's paralyzed doesn't actually really play into the story. It was just a cool way for them to turn what would have been a 45-minute comic movie into a full-length feature movie.
Right.
They added this whole new character, this gangster that she caught on her own.
Paris Franz.
So great. Gotta love comic book names. The villain that she takes down, his name was like Parise Francesco, but but that was his real name. They talk because his boss was Francesco.
No.
But this character, his name was Paris Franz. That's what he went by. That was his like villain name.
Yeah.
And so that really cracked me up. And it was just a really weird story in the beginning. You've got Batgirl having her she works at the library, so she's got this gay dude that's her friend at the library that's all in her personal business talking to her about. She's telling him that she has this relationship with her yoga instructor. It's like she's trying to have this conversation in which, she's trying to get someone's advice. Batman. Yeah, she's trying to get someone's advice on whether or not she should bang Batman, but they think it's just her yoga instructor. So he's telling her things like, "Well, just go to a different class and all." And it provides some humor in that sense, but it's a really weird layer to the story, and it all builds up to what we're used to, which was about the Joker and his creation, which I love. I love this version of the Joker's creation. I love the Red Hood.
Right.
I love the it gets a little sappy, I will say.
It does.
I don't want to break the whole thing down. I don't want to just spit out this entire. If you haven't read it or seen the movie, you really should. I don't want to ruin it all for you, but he faces a bunch of tragedies, and he's doing work for the mob, being sort of forced to do work for the mob. And Batman, because Batman doesn't know that the Red Hood is just worn by different members of the gang at each robbery, when he stumbles across the Red Hood, he thinks it's the mastermind.
Right.
And it's really just this poor sap that has no idea what's going on, and he's terrified of Batman, so he trips over his own cape, falls into a vat of chemicals, comes out the other side the Joker. And I loved this story. Lou, what were your thoughts about it? Because I love the story, don't love the movie.
It was good. It was good.
Someone doesn't mean something when they say it like that. I'm not to put you on blast.
Fair enough.
Say it one more time and I'll believe it.
Yeah, so you say it like that 2 through 3 more times. I might believe that you think it's good. It's like, yeah. You sound like a girl who stayed the night at my house on Sunday morning.
Ooh.
Just then. No.
That's a little too revealing.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah. I guess I got to where I was going.
I liked how quick it was. But
I was able to catch Leto.
Nathan, will you do me a quick favor, because you're the good fact checker? I can't. No. Yeah, well, I'm going to ask for it anyway. And if you don't provide the info, they'll know who's to blame. Who did the voice acting for the Joker in this Killing Joke
Mark
movie?
Hamill.
Yeah,
It was Hamill. It was Hamill again.
Yeah.
I wanted to verify that it was Hamill again before I said I gave the
very much so,
because I didn't know that it was Hamill sitting in. I thought he had called it quits for good, and I remember thinking, "Holy shit, this dude had to have sat with Hamill for him to get it this right," because it was great. Because you have the flashback of the Joker as his normal self. You got to really hear 2 different varieties of it, but it was still clearly the same person. So I give them some credit for this movie was well casted. I thought, as great as the graphic novel was, I thought this one really just left me wanting a little bit.
Fair enough.
The scene where he buys the amusement park is great. That part of that movie. This Joker, where would you put him as far as
Mark Hamill?
No.
Okay.
The Joker in the Killing Joke that we watched, as far as our earlier conversation with the DC Rebirth, acknowledging the 3 different eras of Joker as saying there are 3 different Jokers. Which, if gold, silver, bronze, which Joker do you think the Killing Joke fell into? Because he's definitely the nihilist heavy version. He's definitely not. We can definitely take Ramiro off the board. He's not at all Silver Age Joker in this
especially
piece.
With how heavily they hint at him raping Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, that's another part that is maybe not so implied in the graphic novel, because in the graphic novel it's heavier on the camera aspect. He's taking a ton of pictures and he's saying things like work it, this and that, and you do see him clearly undressing her in the comic, but they go out of their way in the film to point out like it's little, but they go out of their way very subtly, I might add. It's still very subtle, but they create scenes that don't need to be there.
Right.
And for instance, they're in their search for the Joker, they come across some prostitutes and they ask, has he been around? And the prostitutes kind of laugh. They're like, no, we thought it was a rumor that, we didn't believe that he was out, because usually we see him before he's out on the news that he's escaped.
Yeah.
And so you have the prostitutes saying, we haven't seen Joker, and which what they did was, earlier in the beginning, the girls even say he must have found a new girl.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, what they do is they're looking for henchmen. They ask the henchmen, why have you heard from the Joker? And they're like, no, he's using his own crew, which sort of explains when he buys this circus and he's using the actual circus freaks as his crew, which was pretty cool. A nice cool addition.
That is a hard throwback to some of the older cartoons where he would get the freak shows to do his stuff.
Yeah, and that I thought this guy more even. I wouldn't even call him a mashup the way we thought Leto was sort of a silver bronze mashup. I felt like this guy went back to, he was just golden age Joker in The Killing Joke.
I take what I want. I don't get no for an answer.
Yeah. And all about just proving his point, going, and so it was, but yeah, the rape thing was heavily implied because of all that stuff. And then he puts Commissioner Gordon through this circus show where he's riding along the little very slow roller coaster, and there's just nothing but pictures, and they don't show you anything. But the way the commissioner reacts, I mean, it's one thing. Yeah, it would be pretty traumatizing to see your daughter having been shot and seeing her naked and shot on the ground.
Right.
But
then getting to see her raped.
But exactly. But and they make it to the point where he breaks Commissioner Gordon. The guy, he's laying there face down in a puddle, not making a sound. Like you think he's dead even for a second. He's so motionless. And so I think, so it went a little, it's definitely not a child's cartoon. It's definitely not anywhere close.
Very hard on.
I have a feeling there's part of me that gets a little worried that some parent that doesn't pay a lot of attention is going to buy their young son this new Batman movie, and then try to sue someone's pants off because they didn't do their job as a parent.
Right. Like the idiots to let their kids watch Deadpool.
Yeah, like the people who took their kids to see Deadpool.
It's kind of on topic here. I just wanted, because I just remembered about this movie. Have either of you ever seen The Dark Knight Returns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just, because I've seen that one. It was definitely an interesting take.
It was.
So you saw The Dark Knight then, right?
Yeah.
We can, because where we've gotten to now is the point where, so Killing Joke, I would recommend it. I'd give it again like a 6.5, a 7. I didn't think it was anything great, but I thought it was great as far as an animated movie, Batman animated movie, but it's one of those things when you love the source material so much. Like I loved the movie The Watchmen until I went and read the graphic novel, because I was one of those people that learned about the graphic novel through the movie. And once I read it, I was like, oh my God, you guys, you had gold here.
Yeah.
And you did not, it did not transfer. Yeah. And that's sort of where I felt here. But these Jokers, so you know the two Jokers that we're talking about, at least two of the three. This is where it gets a little fun for me. He's the guy I've been wanting to talk about.
I did read the plot though for The Killing Joke, and I will say, based on just on what I read alone, like I definitely could give that a 9 out of 10, based on what I read. Now, obviously, I'd have to watch it and.
The graphic novel, I will give you that. I give that a 9 out of 10 all day.
Yeah.
But what they failed, and so we have to go back here for a second, because so much of The Killing Joke is that final frame.
Yeah.
And it's always been controversial. And that is really, when it boils down to, that's what disappointed me about this movie, is it felt a little anticlimactic, because it
hard.
Could have hinted at the. So you should look up the image, Nathan, quickly. So for yourself.
I know exactly what you mean by anticlimactic.
What's the image?
It's the Killing Joke final frame. It's so. I really want to pull it up. I think I can get away with pulling that up and showing it. So essentially, at the end of all of this, Batman finally gets to Joker, and he's trying. He and Commissioner Gordon, their goal was to try to prove to the Joker that their way works. To try to prove that if you go about it by the book, that if you're a good guy, you're a good person, things will work out. They're trying to get him
rehabilitated.
Yeah. So you're looking at it, Nathan. Okay. You're looking at the pictures of him grabbing. So Lou, do me a favor, just sort of explain to the folks what we're talking about as far as that frame and like the two things that it could imply while I try to bring the frame up for them.
So you have the Batman, after he deals with the Joker's henchman, the Joker pulls a gun on him, and it turns out to be a prop gun that, throws out the flag, bang. And so he tosses it and he says, well, might as well just start kicking my ass. And that's when Batman is just like, I don't want to hurt you. And that to me right there was just kind of like, okay, dude, for real? You trained Barbara Gordon for how fucking long, and you fucked this girl, and you're not
really fucked this girl.
Yeah, you were the last piece of dick this woman got before she was fucking paralyzed, and you're not gonna fucking put some grease paint on your hands. But I digress.
Yeah. So, and I've got the image pulled up here. So what happens is after the gun gets pulled, the Joker tells this joke, and it is a pretty good joke.
I remember the joke.
The joke about the two guys escaping an insane asylum, and they see freedom across the rooftops, and the first guy jumps the gap between the two buildings, but the second guy is scared. So the first guy says, "Well, hang on, I've got a flashlight. I'll shine the flashlight to your edge, and you can just walk across the beam." And the second guy says, "What do you think? I'm crazy? You just turn it off when I got halfway across." And so I think it is a pretty decent joke, but what's great about this in its original medium is you guys are looking at, it starts with the Joker busting a gut, and then you see Batman sort of smiling, and he actually starts laughing. But then in the next one, it sort of, the page just fills with hee-hees and ha's, and you've got what looks like an angry Batman with one hand around the Joker's throat while the Joker's got his head cocked back, and he could be laughing or he could be getting choked. And so that was always the iconic argument.
Right.
Because in either way, you could say Batman snapped. In this situation, you could say he snapped and laughed and kind of came to Joker's side, or you could say he snapped through rage and knew that because the Joker wouldn't play it his way and he wouldn't agree to this whole one of us has to stop or we're going to end up killing each other, then Batman just decided, well, okay, well, I'm going to kill you right now.
Right.
And the way that it's done in the film, he kind of leans forward and slaps both hands on Joker's shoulders, and they do make the Joker's laughter stop a little bit, and so it's only Bruce that's laughing there in the end. So I think that was their attempt to leave that argument there. But I just felt it could have been done a lot better. I mean, when you look at, as you guys that are watching on YouTube, if you look at the image right now, if you're seeing right here, you can see that that's his elbow kind of cocked back. So he's clearly reaching forward with one arm, and where his hand could be on the shoulder, it could also be on the throat. I don't know. I just felt they could have left us with a great cliffhanger there. Right. And it felt like when I watched American Psycho, which was another great movie based off a great book that got everything right but the ending. And that really can screw it up for you.
Yeah. It's all about that ending.
Yeah. It really is. And we got some Joker in our Suicide Squad ending, which was cool.
Yeah.
I would say, so where would you, this might be a little unfair. I'm going to say, where does Leto stack up based on where do you think he'll be once he gets another movie of the Joker into, like, where do you think he stacks up with the other ones?
Honestly, if he does a second movie as the Joker, he'll have surpassed most of the Jokers that ever played the Joker. you know, Heath Ledger didn't survive playing the Joker.
Jack said it changed him.
It did.
Now he also did The Shining. You know, he's got two roles really that can kind of sort of contribute a little bit to that madness. But outside of just the fact that, okay, well, he's going to survive the role the longest.
That's yet to be seen.
How did he actually do? Did you like it?
He did great.
I loved it.
You know what? I always got to be pretty partial to Heath Ledger's Joker just because of how psychotic and how much it fucks with your head. Now I know Jared Leto's a little bit. No, I didn't feel it as much, but for me, it would be really hard to top Heath Ledger's, and it has nothing to do with him, you know, basically, you know, dying before the film even, you know, came out. It's just how he played him and how the character came off towards me personally. Like, he's always going to be my one. I think Leto could end up 2 or 3. Honestly.
Yeah. He's definitely top 3.
So I'll start by saying Mark Hamill is the best Joker that has ever been. And a lot of people might immediately cry foul because it's all animated what he's done. But if you go and watch
iconic laugh.
But yeah, the voice that you hear in your head when you think of the Joker, that's his voice, you know, across the video games, and it should be noted that when he's in the booth recording for these, he is one of the few guys, he's not sitting at a chair. He's standing at a podium, and you watch, he physically he acts out most of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been an age thing, if he hadn't essentially just been too old to play the role about the time, you know, once he got it as the voice actor,
right,
he would have ended up, in my opinion, probably been the best guy for it. Yeah. I mean, it's really a shame that you only ever get to see him as Luke Skywalker. Yeah. His work as a voice actor is phenomenal. So that automatically kind of skews my list. I think Mark Hamill always will be the best Joker until proven otherwise. I think Leto's going to be up there. I think he's film-wise, I could see him surpassing everything we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And part of that, not to take anything away from these other guys, because he's getting to learn from them and take a little bit of what Jack did, a little bit of what Heath did. And it's a new day. It's a new time in film. This is a new thing that they're doing. And he finally gets to have Harley. No other situation with the Joker do we have that. Heath Ledger wasn't interested in women. His Joker wasn't even interested in women.
Nope.
Jack's
explains that Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, right. And
after you finish, I do want to say something about it. Sorry.
You sound like every ex-girlfriend I've ever had. No, go ahead.
I will say for me, though, you know, and I know comics and stuff aren't necessarily supposed to be super realistic or anything, but I feel for, you know, especially for the fact that the Christopher Nolan movies were just, you know, basically every day in a sense. Now, obviously not, because, you know, you're not having the League of Shadows here, or at least we don't, you know.
You don't know about the League of Shadows, bro?
But, like, just how, like, Heath Ledger's Joker looked.
Lose in the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably.
See how dangerous it is? See how hard this job is?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people listen and they think, wow, that Kevin is really stupid. He can't get a sentence out. But they don't see the faces Lou makes across the room that really can distract you while you're trying to get your point across. So, Nate, do you remember what you were trying to say?
Like, it's just so realistic how Heath Ledger had his Joker. And for me, that's a big thing. In terms of my movie watching, I mean, he's still a great Joker, but you know that point doesn't necessarily apply to anybody else how they view the Joker. I will say I'm not too big into comics or anything, so I come from that angle.
Fair enough. Yeah. So what did you guys think about the tattoos? Because at first, when I saw the grill and the tattoos, especially the one that said damaged across the forehead, my initial reaction was that these guys went too far. But after watching it, seeing it all put together and seeing it fit within that universe where, you know, that crime boss he's dealing with, Common, has the all-seeing eye tattooed in the center of his forehead, and Diablo has tattooed. It's one of those things where it's like how, for instance, in Tarantino's film universe, there's a lot more violence, a lot more TV and film violence. So what we're looking at essentially is in this parallel universe that the DC world inhabits, tattoos are apparently just as prevalent. I mean, there's just it's sort of just putting a modern take on it. And I actually found that the way he carried himself and the way, like, with his costume and the way that the character was being sort of a mob crime boss, that it actually ended up enhancing the character. I thought all the tattoos ended up, in hindsight, being a nice touch. That hand tattoo is wonderful. The one that he can cover
the smile.
Yeah, the smile on his hand.
Because he's still smiling.
Yeah.
But he's like, behind that hand, you're wondering what he's really fucking thinking.
Well, and it was perfect. Like, he grabs Harley's face at one point, basically shushes her when she's trying to say something, and so all you get is a smile on her face.
Well, you put a smile on your face.
I think
that's a great harken back to that Jack Nicholson character. You know, I just want to put a smile on your face.
Well, that's also, I mean, Heath
up.
did it. Yeah, Heath said that too. So,
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of this, I think the aesthetic they were going for, and, you know, with the universe they were in, I think it made perfect sense that, you know, and to me, it added a sense of aura to Joker's craziness. I mean, you know, if he's willing to put this damaged, stupid tattoo on his forehead here, you know, you're not gonna win any crazy battles with him.
That, and it also reflects our society today. I mean, look at our generation. I remember, you know, tattoos were a lot more taboo when I was younger. You know, more and more people have them now than what they did when we were kids.
Yeah, and that's a part of it too. Is it's bringing the medium or the story up to date culturally.
Right.
So I guess without, you know, before we wrap this up, I wanted to ask you guys sort of one more opinion, and that is, how did this movie do in its tertiary goal? You know, how did it do as far as setting up this universe? Are you excited? Are you any more or less excited for the DC cinematic universe? Will it keep up with Marvel at all?
I'll put it this way. Batman versus Superman fucking terrified me. Okay? It did. You remember we were both there, and I was like, if this is what we have to look forward to, I'm probably gonna, like, if this is any indication of Suicide Squad, I'll watch Suicide Squad, but that's their last chance for me. Suicide Squad, I'll watch another movie.
Right. Yeah. If it didn't work, then yeah, I understand that. Thoughts, Nate? Are you excited about the ones going forward? You gonna watch, or are you gonna wait 2 more years before you watch another superhero movie?
It might be ending up more that route there, I guess. For me, I mean, I just, like I've said, I've never really been into, you know, comics and superheroes and things along those lines. The fact that they had this, you know, anti-hero aesthetic definitely drew me in. I don't know if it's planned or not, but maybe it'd be interesting to see another Suicide Squad movie. But I'm real worried, and I can't speak to the Avengers movies, but I'm real worried they'll just have so many
teams,
so many big head characters, you know, main characters there, that you're just not going to fill in all the detail you need.
Well, DC doesn't have to worry about that because nobody gives a shit about anyone that's not Batman or Superman, except for Lou. Lou likes Green Arrow. The rest of us can give a shit about Flash or
I was thinking about that earlier. Like, when we were talking about how Marvel had, you know, Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, you know, you had all these singles, you know, and I'm thinking, well, there's Batman, but who the fuck's really going to go out and watch an Aquaman movie?
Not many people.
No. That dude's one of the most, like, shit on heroes ever.
Which, you know, on closing, I do propose that someday soon, Lou, you and I just really dive in and try to do Aquaman the justice he deserves, because he's better than advertised. And I think I at least want to give him some love someday. But I think we have ruined enough of these two movies for the people at this point. If they've listened this far, they don't really need to go see it. So with that being said,
so give us your ticket money.
Yeah, so give us your ticket money instead, and we'll do a little flip book drawing on a Post-it notepad, and it'll be equally entertaining. And I will do that for less than $5.
And you know, we need to start a GoFundMe so we can help out our buddy Sean make the movie this time. And
Well, we need to start a GoFundMe so Sean can buy his narcolepsy medicine.
There you go. Yeah. So help a friend, guys. Donate to sleep aids. Sleep aids. All right. Well, on that note, it was great to have you guys along with us today. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you go out and enjoy Suicide Squad and The Killing Joke. And if you did or didn't like it, leave us a comment below. It's been real.